Well, hello, everyone, and welcome here to Bedford. Nick and Astis, Chris Cameron with you. It's FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Final episode of the season as we get set for championship week statewide. Over the next 90 minutes or so, we'll preview every semifinal and championship matchup that's on the way over the next week or so. The postseason action has been coming hot and heavy, and we'll break down what has transpired so far. We'll be joined by Merrimack's head coach Brian Miller at the bottom of hour number one in about 25 minutes or so. The Tomahawks, of course, are fresh off a quarterfinal upset overtime victory over Bedford and will play in the Division I semifinals for the first time in a long time. So Coach Miller, our first guest tonight, coming up at 6:30. Then two of his players, two seniors, on their way to the next level to continue their career in the NCAA. That's Ryan Resendez and Jackson Forbes. Those two were instrumental over the weekend in the upset win. So two Merrimack players will join us at the same time at about 6:45. 7 o'clock, we switch gears for hour number two with Portsmouth head coach JoJo Curro. The Clippers dethroned the champs over the weekend. They beat Bishop Girton and advance to tomorrow night's championship game where they will take on top-seeded Bedford. Of course, Portsmouth in the hunt for a third straight championship overall, but they're first at the D1 level. And then finally, Avery Runke, a big part of that Portsmouth machine, the senior on her way to Loyola, Maryland, will join us to round out the show. And, of course, a programming note, we are busy this week. It begins tomorrow night in Exeter with the girls' Division I championship, Bedford against Portsmouth. That's a 7 o'clock start. Of course, we are broadcasting live on NFHSnetwork.com, and we'll release the game following in the following day or two on our channel. So tomorrow night, Bedford-Portsmouth at 7. Wednesday, we'll be back at Exeter for the boys' Division I semifinals. Pinkerton at Exeter at 5. Merrimack against Bishop Girton at 7:15. And then, of course, Championship Sunday, as we've done the last few seasons, we'll bring all three of the boys' state championship games in a row. And again, the only place you can watch it all live is on the NFHS Network, NFHSnetwork.com. All right, let's bring in my co-host here, Coach Cameron. Congratulations, first of all. Your team, obviously, the top-seeded BG Cardinals. You guys are in the hunt for a third straight D1 championship. No problem over Concord 22-4 was the final?
5.
22-5.
They actually jumped out to a 1-0 lead, and it was only 4-2 after the first quarter. So they came to play, and they did a good job. Coach Smith had his players ready to play.
How'd you guys respond after that slow start?
Not well in the first half. Like, it was a 9-3 game at halftime. Second half, third quarter, we played a very good third quarter and just blew it open. Like, I think we got up to 17-3 or 18-3. But we came out a little bit flat, but their goalie made some saves. He had 12 saves in the first half. And, that was part of it. We had a few turnovers. We just didn't shoot well. But to Concord's credit, they came out and they had some energy and, could see. And I told our guys, that's how upsets happen. You let an underdog stop believing. But in the end, we just had too much talent and too many legs, and we just kept running waves at them. We wore them down a little bit. But they were an improved team than when we saw them 2 weeks ago.
And you will face Merrimack. Obviously, the Tomahawks caught the spotlight Saturday night with a 9-8 overtime victory win over Bedford. Connor Dunn came up with the game winner there. You guys faced Merrimack not too long ago, right? A few weeks back?
We played them on May 5th.
Okay, so about a month ago.
About a month ago, exactly, yeah.
In the regular season. And obviously, it seems like Merrimack has been beating the teams they're supposed to beat and then took a step forward, right, program-wise with that win over Bedford in the postseason.
That to me was a shocker, one of the biggest upsets.
In a while.
The only one I could think was 2005. Pinkerton had beaten us like 18-5 during the regular season, and we beat them in the championship. Like I think on May 22nd, it was late May, Bedford beat Merrimack at Merrimack 15-5. And they were playing, it wasn't just like they were playing better and better and better, but their offense just, if you give up 8 goals, you have to win. You have to win. They just couldn't. I don't think their defense was good. I think they, Ethan Kahn, Coach Bordeaux went to the freshman Ethan Kahn in the second half. Maybe sometimes just to give his team a spark. But they played solid defensively, but they just the offense just wasn't, as I said, you score 8 goals, you give up 8 goals, that should be enough to win. But you got to give Coach Miller credit. I mean, that is just a great job. I mean, all year I questioned, them being a 5 seed, but I'm going to have to eat my words now. I mean, because they played North twice, South twice, Concord twice. So their schedule a little bit soft. But in the end, you know what? They beat Bedford. And
right.
Bedford, 4 of Bedford's 6 losses this year were by a goal. They lost to Marblehead by a goal, Pinkerton by a goal, Exeter a goal, and Merrimack a goal. So they're just a younger team. They have to learn how to win, and that's what Coach Bowie's going to do for them. I mean, he's established a culture there where these kids compete hard. So I'm sure that's that loss is going to sting for some time because that's just a. But you got to give Merrimack credit. On the road, they came in and pulled that upset.
And you mentioned the schedule. Sometimes that can be beneficial to learn how to win, right? So then when it's tight,
you gain confidence. You gain confidence, and that's what they did, and they really did. They they had some tight games versus Concord. Two times versus Concord were tight. The game versus us was like 14-1 or 13-1 at the half. In the end, it was a 15-2 final. So. But against Bedford, they lost 15-5. Pinkerton handled Merrimack pretty easily too. I don't remember the Exeter score, but I think it was somewhat lopsided. So, but they got better and better, and they competed. They started believing in themselves, and
here they are.
That's just a huge win for Coach Miller and his program. I'm excited to see what he has to say about it.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the Division I bracket, no surprise, 2-seed Exeter and 3-seed Pinkerton both advanced. The Astros knock off their next-door neighbor, Londonderry, in the quarterfinals. Exeter, no problem with Dover. So that is the latest chapter in that rivalry, right, Coach? The Pinkerton-Exeter rivalry, which has grown over the last several seasons. And, again, nobody's surprised that those two are matching up in the semifinals.
Yeah. So Londonderry-Pinkerton, they met 3 times. The first one was a double overtime, 7-6, Pinkerton win. Then it was then the game, FNL game, it was tight the first quarter. I think it might have been 0-0, or it was maybe
That's correct.
And then all of a sudden, Pinkerton just exploded.
13-6, I believe.
Was it that? Okay. Right. And then in the quarters, I think it was a 15-7 final. It was close for a while, but Londonderry, their goalie, Colby Walden, got hurt, didn't play. He's one of the top goalies in the state. I think that hurt them. Obviously, the face-off possession battle. From what I heard, I didn't see it. Went to Pinkerton and Pinkerton's playing better. Since our game, kind of similar to last year when Pinkerton lost to South. I think Coach G just kind of rallied the troops and got them focused in, and they made a good run to the semis. This year, after our game, I think they've gotten better, and that's to me, if that game could go either way. Like I told our team today, look, we got to take care of business on Wednesday, but you could expect either team to win that game. It's at Exeter. They played each other early on in the year. It was a 5-4 game. Right. And, you have the talent. There's more offensive talent on Exeter. But the face-offs, Cole Frank, I think the game I went to, he won 11 out of 13 or 12 out of 4. 9 times 13 face. I think it was 11 out of 13 face-offs he won. So, can Will McElroy close that gap? Probably a little bit, but still the possession battle is going to be Pinkerton. They're going to want to play. So they're going to want that game to be 7-6. 9-7, where Exeter's going to want to play is going to want to play faster. So that's going to be a terrific semifinal at 5:00 on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's the first of 2 from Bill Ball Stadium. Again, we'll be on the air broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS Network, NFHSnetwork.com, the place to watch that live. In Division II, the top 2 seeds advance, Portsmouth and Derryfield. They will face Wyndham and St. Thomas, respectively. Jaguars-Clippers is the second game in Nashua on Wednesday night. That's a 7:15 opening face-off. Derryfield-St. Thomas is the earlier game at 5:00. St. Thomas, of course, as the 6th seed, knocked off 3rd-seeded Timberlane to advance. So,
so they're coming
what do we think there, Coach?
Yeah, they're coming in playing well. I mean, so Derryfield doubled up St. Thomas during the regular season, beat them 12-6. But Derryfield's good. I mean, Derryfield is good. They don't have too many. Last year, their goalie was younger and experienced. This year, he's taken a big step forward, but St. Thomas is playing well, so I think that's going to be a tight game. I mean, I would say Derryfield's the favorite, but they favored by 5, 6. I don't know, but it could be tight because St. Thomas is playing well. Wyndham won a quarterfinal game of Winnicott at 5-2.
Right.
I haven't heard the details on that. I just saw the score. Was it
low scoring?
Was it a double zone game, or why was it so low scoring? Because the weather wasn't bad on Saturday. It was it was a little bit chilly, but maybe there was some rain. I mean, actually, we played in rain. So.
Is that how Wyndham likes to play? You think?
I gotta check their scores. I should know that, but I don't think so. I think they like to get up and down.
Yeah, we've seen them in the past get up and down, but that's again a credit, Coach, to that program, right? I mean, it's starting to become expected for Wyndham to make a late push.
Yeah, that's a great, because I mean, you look at they've won like 9 of their last 11 games. They beat Hanover 10-4, lost to St. Thomas 9-4, 8-7. They beat Goffstown Timberland. They lost 9-3. Hollis 10-9. So they are kind of like it looks like they play a little bit slower. They play good defense, play a little bit slower. Portsmouth just put it on Hollis. Hollis, I think, just ran out of gas. Ben Defoe, who's one of the best players in the state, I think he had all 3 of their goals. But there was just too much relying on him where Portsmouth has a lot of weapons. I don't think we're going to see a shootout with Portsmouth, but Portsmouth can score. Wyndham's going to have to score more than 5 goals to win. They're going to have to get up to 10 to win. Portsmouth has shown, that teams can play with them, because I think that let me see what the score was during the regular season, Nick. I hope I wasn't looking at the I don't think they did not play during the regular season.
That's always fun.
Those 2 teams.
Clippers, as we know, the top seed overall, did not lose a Division II game.
No, and they had a win over Division I Exeter.
But fell to Londonderry, their lone blemish.
Yes, which was a good win for Coach Weed and Feld and Londonderry. Yeah, so that, I mean, as we've said from day one, is that it was Derryfield and Portsmouth, the 2 favorites. Who's in that mix with them? And St. Thomas has stepped up. Wyndham stepped up. Yep. I thought Timberlane was, any of those 5 teams, I think, were the 5 2 best. But I think you have 2 good semifinals there at Stellos.
Yeah.
But everybody's kind of expecting that. Everyone wants to see that 7 is. I think they're the late championship. They're the 7:30 game on Sunday.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
I thought that was automatically D1.
Division I is 2:30.
Okay, so it's D1, D3, D2.
Yes, D1, D3, D2. Okay. I'm gonna just confirm that.
That should be up on the NHIAA website, NHIAA.org. All right, Coach, D3 on the boys' side almost went chalk. Hopkinton crashing the party. No big surprise as the 5 seed. They'll take on top-seeded Bow in Laconia, 7:15 on Tuesday. And in the 2-3 matchup at 5 o'clock is Campbell at Pelham, or Campbell and Pelham. The Cougars fell to the Pythons 8-1 during the regular season. So, again, Campbell, Pelham at 5 up in Laconia, followed by Hopkinton at Bow at 7:15.
So Pelham, Coach Johnson, it's the 2nd year there. He's developed a culture. Sometimes that takes a few years, but he's got those kids. They're playing disciplined lacrosse, not taking penalties, just playing as a team. And you hold Campbell to 1 goal. That's pretty good. And Campbell lost to Bow 9-8. So you have a pretty good D3 final right there. You had a shout out to Coach Lamparelli and Bishop Brady. They had in the play-in game they beat Cole Brown, which was a good win for them. Campbell.
Cole Brown had a good year, right?
Yeah, Campbell had no problem with Brady. Pelham had no problem in their quarterfinal game. And then at the top, Bow's undefeated this year. They did have that one tight game, so that's a good. And then Coach Deacon Blue and Coach Kyle Devitt, his assistant, they're good. They're a well-coached team. Do they have the guns to play with Bow this year? I'm not sure. They're going to have to kind of coach them up and control the pace of that game in order to pull that upset there. And then, that's 2 good matchups there.
Yeah.
And the games are played at the Bank of Amsterdam Stadium up in Laconia.
Yeah, that's right behind the high school.
It's behind the high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, a hidden gem. If you've been up there, it's nice. All right, on the girls' side, Coach, 2 good games over the weekend. Bedford, the top seed in Division I, they imposed their will, so to speak, over Nashua South and shut out the Purple Panthers 13-0 to return to another championship game. They will face Portsmouth, of course, the Clippers, after winning back-to-back Division II championships, jumped up to D1 and dethroned a very good Bishop Girton team on Saturday night. That was a game in which the Cardinals made it interesting, scoring 3 goals in the final 2 minutes, but couldn't catch Portsmouth. 14-12 was the final there. This is a rematch from the regular season, a game that was close but was won by Bedford about a month ago. So what do you expect tomorrow night, Coach, at 7 o'clock out at Bill Ball Stadium?
So the girls' side, again, the 3 favorites, were the teams that kind of were left standing at the end. Nashua South, great win over Pinkerton.
Right. Good point.
Great win over Pinkerton. They
yep.
beat them during the regular season. They beat them by a goal in the quarterfinals. Then they had their prom on Saturday, so they had to flip times. That's why they flipped times.
And then they had to run back to Nashua after the game.
Yeah, so maybe their head wasn't in the game. You don't know, but that's just a great win over Pinkerton. But Bedford just kind of just wore them out. Yeah. I mean, it was like they controlled the pace, they controlled the ball all game, and
they played very well on both ends.
They did, and that's what the Portsmouth is very, very talented. They have the Runke sisters. I thought Anna Campbell for BG was outstanding with 6 goals, but Annie Parker for you have Morgan Runke. We're gonna have Avery Runke on, who is a senior. She's going to the senior game, a senior All-American. But Annie Parker was outstanding for them. So they played very well defensively. They have I think she's a freshman goalie in there for Portsmouth. So we always say it all the time, but in the girls' game, draw control and saves is such a big thing. And in the Bedford Portsmouth game, Maddie Eno-Leno for BG made 3 saves in the first half, where the rebounds were controlled by Portsmouth, and each one of them they scored on 3 possessions. So that was key to that game. BG just could never get. It seemed like they were a little bit flat. They didn't have a lot of energy, but when you don't have the ball a lot, it kind of does that to you. Right. And I think Portsmouth but Portsmouth they're well coached. We're going to have JoJo Curro on. She has Erin Rigby-Chase as an assistant who was the UNH coach. So they're a very disciplined team on top of all that talent. I'm so glad that they are playing D1 because that's where they belong.
That's where they belong
with all that talent. But that game, I think it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to overtime. I mean, it's just two evenly matched teams. I think the first game was at Bedford, so that now the game's out in the Seacoast. Bedford's playing very well right now. Olivia Matthews was, what I saw, the best player for Bedford. But they have Sydney Grogan, who's another senior. We've only had Riley Bouvier last year was the first girl that we've had make the senior game. And then this year we have 2. We have Avery Runke and Sydney Grogan. So you're going to see those 2 matching up. But you have Regan O'Brien, who's also outstanding at Ellie Enders. So they have a lot of depth. Maddie Kiley, they have a lot of depth. The thing with Bedford is once they break through and win that championship, you might see a string of those. But they've lost in a lot of finals. I don't know what the number is. I remember the game at Memorial versus BG. I remember the game versus Exeter. I think they've lost in 3 or 4 finals.
They've been close for a long time.
Once they break through, it's watch out, and this could be their year, their team. But they have a lot of talent, and a fun team to watch.
That's not the only championship going on tomorrow night. Hanover and Hollis Brookline will face off in Division II. Hanover is the top seed. The Cavaliers are the 3 seed. And then in Division III, Bow will take on St. Thomas. Bow the 1, St. Thomas the 2. So the Falcons have a potential to bring home 2 championships, both boys
they're the
and
one
girls.
They're the 1 seed in both the boys and the girls
if
D3.
the Falcons can pull it off. So we'll start, though, with Hanover and Hollis Brookline in D2.
Yeah, Hanover seems like they're a machine, the way they're rolling people. Hollis Brookline, I'm going to pull up the results, but they got challenged in the quarterfinals, and then they got challenged in the semifinals. Tournament info.
And Hanover, that's been a program that has had success
for
in
years.
the past.
For years,
yes.
Their boys is a little bit on a downtick right now. But Hollis 7-4 over Wyndham, which was a tight game, and then 8-4 over Goffstown. So, and they had some card issues in they were playing a lot of yellow cards. So they like to play a little bit aggressive, but the low scoring is their game where Hanover won 21-1, and then they won 14-11 versus Winnicott. So they're going to play a little bit faster, where Hollis Brookline is going to play a little bit slower, like to control the pace. But we'll check to see if they play. Sometimes those divisions are so big that teams don't play each other. But that's the 1 versus the 3. On that, as we said on the opening show, which seemed like yesterday, that there's a lot of depth at that Division 2 on the girls' side.
Yeah. And in D3, Bow and St. Thomas.
Yeah, so Bo's loaded. I mean, CCA Kingsman, Jeannie Muir, you got to give them credit. They had a big upset over. They beat Hopkinton 17-13. Talk about a shootout. Because you don't see them in too many sports, but to make it to the court, to make it to the semis, Bo beat them 17-4. Just too much talent. And then St. Thomas over Guilford. So St. Thomas is another team that has is in the boys D2 semis, and then they're in the they're in the girls championship. So St. Thomas made a run as the 2 seed? Yeah, the 2 seed. So that's a great matchup, St. Thomas and Bo. So
a lot to get to this week. Again, the girls championships statewide, D1, 2, and 3 are all tomorrow night. We will have coverage of the Division 1 game between Bedford and Portsmouth, broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS Network, and it can be seen live only on NFHSnetwork.com. All right, we're going to welcome in our first guest in about 5 minutes. We'll take a break and then speak with Brian Miller, the Merrimack head coach. Makes his debut on the show, the Tomahawks, in the semifinals for the first time in a long time. You are watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
It's FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Nick Anastas, Chris Cameron with you, the final rendition of the show. It's presented, of course, by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Ryan Resendez, Merrimack senior on his way to Rockhurst University, will join us along with his teammate and classmate, Jackson Forbes, who is on his way to Norwich. Merrimack, of course, coming off a big quarterfinal upset win over Bedford. Then at 7 o'clock, JoJo Curro of Portsmouth will join us to help preview tomorrow night's girls' Division I championship game against Bedford. Avery Runke is the Portsmouth senior standout who will wrap up the show at 7:15. But joining us right now is Merrimack head coach Brian Miller, making his debut here on FNL Lacrosse, fresh off the practice field. There he is. Coach, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
We're good. Congratulations on the overtime victory. That must have been a thriller. What was that like, and what kind of a milestone is that in your eyes for the program?
Well, I mean, based on simple history, it's the biggest one there is. Through the 25-year history of Merrimack Lacrosse, they've never made a semifinal game before. So just by virtue of that, I don't think there's anything else that comes really close. We've had some big games over the years and had some great times with some great kids. But in terms of program milestones, it's got to be the top one.
As I guess the voice can attest, right, Coach? You texted me earlier, said you lost your voice. I imagine that happened Saturday on the sideline, right?
No, it actually, well, I mean, not to talk about my health, but it kind of trickled in a week ago. The heat got to me, and we were simulating some crowd noise at practice and working on some strategies there. So I was yelling over a very large speaker that I'm sure the neighbors loved across the street from Reeds Ferry practice field. So that it was kind of brewing for a week there, but it was fun, and it certainly helped us on Saturday.
Yeah. Coach, tell me about this group. We're going to speak to two of your seniors here in just a moment, but it seems like this has been a team that is built upon milestone after milestone over the last couple of years, right? You guys had a successful season, a good regular season a year ago, made some noise, and then this year won a bunch of games, ended up as the 5 seed, and obviously are a semifinalist for the first time. Has the momentum been kind of gathering with this group, in your opinion, over the last few years, or is this just kind of the stars aligning at the right time for this unit?
It's a good question. And, I'd bring you back even further than just a few years ago when these kids were freshmen. They missed their freshman year just like everybody else. But I would go way back to when we had a kid named Alec Bronchuk. He graduated from Merrimack High School in 2017. And I don't know that you know his story, but he died tragically in 2019. He was a 3-sport athlete because he walked onto the hockey team as a senior and made it, having never played hockey before. And the values that kid instilled at Merrimack High School in the football program really started to turn things around with Kip Jackson. They had some seriously competitive teams, and they have ever since. So each year after him, we kind of just had a little bit more success each year. We learned a lot from him and groups around him. I mean, I remember in 2019 talking at the banquet to parents and players about how that was one of our best teams in terms of their success. And I feel like now I'm saying that every year about, whatever team we've got. So these kids have been building, but I think the work ethic, the time they've committed to each other and the sport really started before they even got to high school in this community.
Coach, congratulations. Thanks for coming on. That's you've created a program. I mean, you created a program. You lost how many seniors last year? Was it 17?
19 seniors. 17 seniors.
17 seniors from last year's team. And you weren't sure what you had this year, but you guys just kept getting better and better and better. Were there any big, was it a mindset adjustment, or was it like an X and O's adjustment heading into that quarterfinal game with Bedford when you guys just played on May 22nd, and it was a 15-5 win for the Bulldogs?
There's probably a little bit of both there. We certainly did not play our best lacrosse whenever that senior night game was. And, I tell the guys all the time, I'm not a big fan of senior night games. I think kids get jammed up too much for the wrong reasons. I never had a senior game growing up. That wasn't really a thing back then, at least from where I grew up. So wonky things can happen on senior night and on either side. So maybe that was part of it. I'm not really sure, but we definitely came back and corrected some things. And the guys just had greater resolve, I think, on Saturday. There was just no way they were losing that game.
Yeah, that was incredible. So I know in 2006 you were on Pinkerton staff with Coach O'Reilly, and you beat us in the championship a lot thanks to your zone that you were the mastermind behind. But how long have you been at Merrimack? How many seasons?
It's funny. I just brought up that today that you always give me credit for that zone, but it wasn't mine. I wasn't the mastermind. I was just the assistant. O'Reilly was definitely the mastermind behind that. This is my first year in Merrimack. Was 2012. I was an assistant for Bill Costantino, and I was kind of in and out that year because I was dealing with some health issues. But 2013 was my first year as head coach. So that's 11 years now. So
11 years, yeah.
Coach, tell me a little bit about these two young men that we're going to speak with in a moment, Ryan Resendez and Jackson Forbes. They've been a big part of the program. Seemingly they're going to continue their careers at both Rockhurst University and Norwich, respectively. What have they meant to you and your staff over their careers?
Well, they're certainly two very interesting kids. They're very similar in that they work their tails off. I don't know that aside from the other seniors on the team, there's not a whole lot of people that work as hard as them. Jackson is as tough as they come. And I remember him as a sophomore. And if you were to look at his stat line and his involvement in the varsity program that year, it was minimal. And he took a few licks that year. And I remember us talking after games like, oh, yeah, it's not youth lacrosse anymore. Because we talked about before, he missed his freshman year and missed that year of adjustment to the high school game. So he grew a lot in a year. He was our most improved player as a junior. Ryan's kind of similar. Tough as nails, runs all day. He's super fast, works hard. And Ryan's a guy who actually, as a sophomore, his stick skills weren't there yet. He needed to put in a lot of time, and he sure as heck did. He played JV almost his whole sophomore year, and he realized that he really needed to put in time to get to the next level, and that was something he really wanted. So he heeded the advice of the coaching staff, my JV coach at the time, Dalton Paquette, and he hit the wall. He played summer ball. He played off season because he's a single sport guy. He grew up playing other sports, but he kind of honed in on lacrosse during high school. So he took that advice, like I said, and kept moving forward and just gave it everything he got. Leadership-wise, they're both kind of like quiet. Sorry to cut you off there, Nick.
No, go ahead.
They're kind of quiet leaders. They're lead by example guys. So it's going to be tough to say goodbye to them whenever that happens, but we love them to death.
Final question, Coach. You've got obviously the semifinal game coming up here in less than 48 hours. What can you tell us? I know we got Coach Cameron right here. You're not going to give away much, but what does need to go right in order for your team to be competitive and possibly come up with another upset?
That's interesting. Obviously, I've never fielded these kinds of questions before. Usually, Merrimack is operating under the cover of darkness when it comes to news reporters and such. And I know your job because I was once in that chair as a sports writer at the Telegraph a long, long time ago. I don't, it's funny when you think about games and what needs to go right. I mean, we'll find out on Wednesday what needs to go right. I think every game is different. Every game has a story. And we try to go to work at practice every day, getting a little bit better, inspiring guys to make the plays that they need to make the plays they need to make. And then we go from there. And if that means we're down by one, then, hey, there's something we got to work on to get one back. And I asked the guys to be, at the beginning of last week, to be problem solvers. And it's never going to go quite the way you think it is. You need a few things to fall into your lap. You need a few stars to align in games like these. And that happens when you're working your tails off and fighting for your brothers. And then we'll see what happens.
Well, Coach, win or lose, it's been another successful season, maybe historically, for your program. Congratulations on the semifinal berth. Congratulations on that overtime thriller. and thanks for joining us tonight, and good luck on Wednesday.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Coach, great job.
Brian Miller. He's got the Tomahawks in the semifinals for the first time ever, Coach.
Yeah, his answer was pretty concise. It was precise. It was like it's the biggest win they've ever had.
Yeah.
And I love his style. He's just trying to get them to get better each day. And it sounds like he's got some grinders, including the guys that we have coming on. And when I spoke to him. Spoke to Brian, like that's why I knew the number was 17. He's like, I'm graduating 17 seniors. I don't know, and he had a good year last year.
Right, they did.
He goes, I don't know how I'm going to be next year. But when you lose 17 guys,
that's a lot,
and you come back and go to the semifinals, you've got a program.
Yeah.
He's got a program.
Yep.
We didn't get a chance to talk to him about his son Jake, who's coaching your son, being that part of it. And he did. He's battled some health issues, which is great to see him healthy, back on the field full time, and he's another great coach that we need in New Hampshire, which makes New Hampshire lacrosse that much better.
Again, BG Merrimack, 7:15 on Wednesday. Second part of the D1 semifinals. The Pinkerton Astros will take on the Exeter Bluehawks at 5 o'clock. And again, we'll have coverage both Friday Night Lights New Hampshire and the NFHS Network. The only place you can see it live, NFHSnetwork.com. All right, we mentioned, or Coach mentioned, couple of grinders, Ryan Resendez and Jackson Forbes. They join us next. You're watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
It's FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Nick Anastas, Chris Cameron with you from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. Final show of the season. If you missed any part of tonight's episode, don't worry. It'll be archived under our video section on our YouTube channel. That, of course, is FNLNH Media. Again, Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire on YouTube at FNLNH Media. Good stuff from Merrimack head coach Brian Miller a moment ago. Hour number 2, we'll talk, we'll preview the girls' Division I championship between Portsmouth and Bedford. 7 o'clock, JoJo Curro, Portsmouth head coach, will join us. And then the Tomahawks player of the week on the girls' side is Avery Runke, senior for Portsmouth, headed to Loyola, Maryland. And, of course, Bedford-Portsmouth can be seen tomorrow night, beginning at 7 o'clock, live from Bill Ball Stadium. Friday Night Lights New Hampshire will be broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS Network, the only place you can see it live, nfhsnetwork.com. All right, let's welcome in our co-Tomahawks players of the week, Ryan Resendez and Jackson Forbes, two senior midfielders and future NCAA athletes. Gentlemen, good evening. Thanks for coming on. How are you two doing?
Thank you.
Well, how are you?
I'm good. All right, let's start with, I'm not sure who's who, to be honest. Who is the
Jackson?
Jackson
Jackson has
on
a
the
hat.
right,
Yep.
and the blonde is Ryan. Let's start with Ryan first. You are on your way to Rockhurst University. We'll talk about that decision in just a moment. But take me inside the locker room Saturday night after that 9-8 overtime win over Bedford. What did that mean? What was the scene like? What was the party like? I mean, just bring us into the locker room and what was maybe the program's biggest win ever.
So, obviously it was a great win as a team. I think we all performed well and, individually did our jobs. I'd say that winning that game in overtime was the biggest moment of my high school career so far, just as an individual and as a team, excuse me. Yeah, we were, all going nuts as soon as that ball went in. We all stormed the field. The bus ride home was electric, all hyping up Connor Dunn, the one that scored it, and our goalie Mason, who made the save in overtime.
Jackson, I saw you smiling there when he mentioned Connor Dunn. You echo what your classmates said there, or what else can you tell us about the aftermath of that overtime win over Bedford?
Absolutely. It was just as he said. It was completely electric on the bus. Best bus ride I've ever had. Connor Dunn, he's got 2 overtime wins in his career, and it's crazy to see him doing that.
Tell me a little bit about the last few seasons. We spoke with Coach Miller. He said this momentum has really been building for the last 5 or 6 years, and it culminated, obviously, the other night with that overtime win. But you've been on the ground really since day one. Over the last 3 years, obviously, your freshman year was taken away due to the COVID-19 situation. But do you guys feel like you've gotten a little better every year or even week by week?
For sure,
Jackson?
yeah. I think – oh, excuse me.
Or either one. It's an open question, I suppose.
All right. Yeah, definitely. It's a step-by-step process. It takes a lot of time to, improve your skills. But I've had an honor to be under Coach Miller and the Merrimack Tomahawks program, and, the whole team has. And just being there and being a part of the game and all that. And, it's an honor.
Ryan, how do you like playing for Coach Miller, part of this program?
Like Jackson said, it's definitely an honor. And me and Miller go way back, actually. He was we're one of the guidance counselors at my middle school. And we did a little grief group every week or every other week, whatever it was. So coming in my sophomore year, one of the first days at tryouts, kind of clicked between the two. We, we're pretty familiar with each other. And I think that there's always been that type of chemistry there between the two of us.
Yeah, I learned that. I read the article that Joe Marshallina put on in the Hampshire High School Sports, which was great to read. So boys, both of you, great win. Looking forward to competing against you guys on Wednesday in Exeter. So proud of you guys. I think it's great for New Hampshire to have. A lot of people wanted to see that Bedford BG game, but it's great to have a new team in there, and you guys certainly earned it. Coach described you guys as quiet leaders. But right now, let's talk about. So each one of you has a different school that you chose, and they're unique. So if you could each talk. Go Jackson first with going to Norwich. Tell us about the recruiting process and how you wound up there, and then we'll go to Ryan with Rockwood in Kansas City. Right, Ryan? Is that right?
Rockhurst, yeah.
Rockhurst. Sorry, Rockhurst in Kansas City. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, I had a pretty short recruiting process. I picked out Norwich pretty easily. My family's been a big military family, and I wanted to go somewhere where I'd get that experience. And so Norwich is kind of the easy choice for me. And the coaches were awesome, and so it just kind of clicked with me that Norwich would be the place for me.
Yeah, they were excited to get you. It was as you said, that was an easy one once they saw you play one time. Ryan, what about you?
So for Rockhurst, again, my recruitment was pretty short. I went into the club season last summer. Not really. I had gotten into contact with that many coaches, and I sent out my film, all my information to schools that I was interested in. And one of those was Rockhurst. And when Coach Kelly got into contact with me, we set up our tour. Me and my mom there, and I did an overnight tour with the guys. Got to see all the facilities and whatnot. Had a meeting with the coaches. And while I was there, I just felt really at home. And, the chemistry between the guys is just unmatched and something that I haven't really seen before. And, I became super interested in that. The decision was pretty easy once I got back home.
So what, like you said, it was a school that you were interested in. What was it that you were interested in? Because it's a school that we have never sent anyone to. So I want to learn more about it.
Mm-hmm. So the academics, for one, are outstanding. I'm looking to major in finance, and so they have a very good business program overall. And the team chemistry is something that really drew me
in. And Jackson, what are you looking to study?
Construction management. That was also a crucial part of the decision process. There's not a lot of construction management schools out there in like the region. I wanted to stay closer, so that was kind of part of it. But yeah.
It's a quick answer. Yeah. Where did that love come from initially, or where was that decision made initially? Construction management. How did you develop an interest in that?
I have a stepdad who's a civil engineer, and so I kind of learned from him as I grew up, and so it's always been kind of a love of mine. Watching like the big trucks in the backyard because we have like a lot of house renovation projects when I was little. So it's just always been a thing growing up with me.
Good stuff. All right, fellas, both of you are going to play coach for a moment. We couldn't get much out of Brian Miller earlier, but I'm going to see if we can crack the jar here. What needs to go right, guys, tomorrow night to beat BG? We'll start with you, Jackson.
I think it's going to be all about possessions. I had my way with some of the face-offs last time, and I hope to do that again. And so if we can hold the possessions and keep the ball in our half and not let the BG offense like have their way with our defense, and I think that will be the main reason that we do well.
What do you think, Ryan?
At the end of the game, or at the end of the day, excuse me, it comes down to who wants it more. I think after that win over Ford, we're on a high horse right now. We're pretty good as a unit. But like I said, we all just have to come out and do our job and execute the game plan. We know that BG is a tough opponent, but we're prepared for it.
Well, we wish both of you the best of luck, not just on Wednesday night, but moving forward as well. Good luck next year. We appreciate you coming on, and congratulations on another successful season. Thanks, guys.
Great job. Congratulations,
Thank you.
boys. See you Wednesday.
Thank you.
Yeah, they did great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Ryan Resendez and Jackson Forbes of Merrimack.
Yeah, they were, which is great that they said, I heard the word electric in the best bus ride home. I mean,
yeah,
that's what it's about.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a win like that, you deserve to enjoy it, and you deserve to get the recognition, to be on FNL and the NHT Stars of the Week. They're just good kids, good, hardworking kids that Norwich, construction manager, there is only a few. Like, the other one is Wentworth. But, Norwich saw Jackson play once, and, like, we want that kid. It was a perfect match. But it was interesting to see what, Ryan's process was like. But they seem confident going into the game, which is good. I mean, when you get a win like that over Bedford, you're going to get confident
Yeah.
like that. And as Coach said, they lead by example, and you could see that on the interview right there.
Two good kids,
Two good
seems
kids,
like,
yeah.
All right. We were going to take a break, but instead, we're just going to keep it rolling as hour number 2 begins here on FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. We've got a championship game. We've got 3 tomorrow night statewide on the girls' side. Of course, Bow and St. Thomas will square off in Division 3. Hanover and Hollis Brookline will face off in Division 2. But Bedford and Portsmouth will have our attention out on the Seacoast tomorrow night in Exeter. It's a 7 o'clock start. We'll have live coverage on the NFHS Network, nfhsnetwork.com, broadcasting with us Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, tomorrow night. All right, let's bring her in. JoJo Curro is the Portsmouth head coach. She guided the Clippers to back-to-back Division II championships in 2021 and again in 2022. Makes the jump in the offseason up to Division I. They have an outstanding regular season. They knock off defending champion Bishop Girton on Saturday in the semifinals and will look to make it 3 in a row overall if they can beat Bedford tomorrow night. Coach Curro, thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good. Thanks for coming on, and congratulations on what was an impressive semifinal victory over Bishop Girton, a wire-to-wire win for your club. What was the key in your mind to that victory over the Cardinals?
Honestly, I think, we did a lot of planning and a lot of game time situations, but I honestly think it was like our overall team chemistry and energy that really just brought us up to that level. I felt like everyone was in it and supporting each other, and everything we did together. It didn't really feel isolated, and I think for us, that definitely just was kind of what got us there.
Sounds like, Coach, you had them ready to play, right?
Yeah, we were definitely ready to play. We knew going into it, it was going to be a good game. It was definitely going to be a competitive game. And, I think all season, that's always been our goal is, to get here. But we had to work for it and we had to earn it. It wasn't just going to be handed to us.
And then you had your usual suspects step up and have big games, right? Annie Parker was huge, I thought, in the circle in the first half. She gave you an edge and then obviously scored 6 goals. The Runke sisters did their thing. And you've got a young goaltender who flashed the wand a few times at key times in that second half. Was that the key, Coach, having your engine-type players, your main stars, play well that led the way Saturday, or were there some other intangibles, some other role players maybe that caught your attention in the process?
I mean, I think honestly that, yes, they stepped up and they were very impactful, but I do think, it's everyone on the field. I think defensively, like Annie Campbell really played solid defense and really shut down some of her players. Sadie Alati also on all cutters. I do see that obviously like midfielders and attackers, they get a lot of the shine because, they are the ones that kind of put the ball in the net, but defense is really, I think, what got us there and really stepped up huge for us. Obviously you can't deny those incredible goals that these girls had and their tenacity out there. But to me, I think my big standout was our defense.
Coach, thanks for coming on. So looking ahead to tomorrow night, to use Nick's kind of question, what has to go right for you to be successful?
A lot of things. I think, for us, again, everyone has to be on the same page, and we have to make sure that if we're moving on defense or we're sliding on defense, that we're sliding with someone else, with communicating with each other, and we're not just doing everything isolated. And on attack, setting ourselves up for success. We are not going in there trying to force it, but really keep that ball moving, keep that ball hot, and really change the points of kind of where we execute our plays or where we are looking to kind of get ourselves in there, really just changing the point of attack.
Yeah, two teams that it sets up for a great championship game. I think they were the 2 best teams during the course of the year, and Both teams are well coached, disciplined, athletic.
Right.
I think the fans are in for a treat. And we have Avery Runke coming on next as our star of the week. Tell us about her and what she's meant to you this year and the program overall.
I mean, she's a phenomenal lacrosse player. She's been huge for us on the draw, on our attack side, on our defense. Like, she really is a true midi, where she is just impactful everywhere she plays. We were talking today at practice that, like, tomorrow is our last game. Like, for ours, their last really, like, best game out there. And, really kind of start to hit home a little bit that, my senior class, along with Avery, like, this is the last time that I'll be able to coach them. And, it gets a little emotional. Avery's a fantastic player, and she's a player that every coach wants on their team.
Yeah. Coach, I'd imagine you have to go through that emotional roller coaster every spring, right? Every June when you graduate.
Yeah.
Especially a talented senior class like this one.
Yeah, it definitely comes with the territory.
Yeah.
It was tough last year. It's tough this year.
You and Bedford. You played Bedford during the regular season, and the Bulldogs won a close game. Do you take away anything from that first go-round, or is that all ancient history at this point once you face off tomorrow night?
It's kind of ancient history in my mind. Thinking back to that game, like, we didn't play Portsmouth lacrosse that game. And I think we understand that, and we have, since that game, we have been just improving every day of practice with every game, knowing that when we play, we always want to put our best self out there and put our best play out there. And I think for tomorrow, that's exactly what our mindset is that this is a fresh team. We've never played them before, and really working on how we just kind of execute our play on the field.
All right, I love asking this question, so I'm going to ask it. Give me the logistics tomorrow for you and your staff in terms of what is the timetable on a championship day, especially when it's a weekday. It's a primetime event at 7 o'clock. How do you make sure your team and everybody on that team is where they're supposed to be in terms of preparation, both physically and mentally before the game? Give me the rundown, the run-through of the activities tomorrow leading up to that 7 o'clock face-off.
Well, I think we'll do maybe a light shoot-around after school. The game's not till 7 o'clock at night, so we have some time. And then you kind of, you let your team, they got to do what they got to do. Each girl has their own set of, like, routine that they do to get themselves in that mindset. And then once we're all together, we are definitely very united. It's definitely a very loud atmosphere, definitely a very positive and fun one. Because we always say when we're playing lacrosse, we always want to make sure we're having fun. And just that, for us, that positive energy is so contagious that it kind of starts on that bus ride over.
That's what I like to hear. And then, of course, we should expect a number of fans in that stands tomorrow. A short drive, obviously, down from Portsmouth. And it seems like that Clipper fan base has traveled supporting you guys pretty well all season, right?
Yeah, definitely. My girls' parents, like all their friends, they definitely are very supportive of the program. And, I think they're all very excited. It's our first time in D1, and we made it to the championship, so it's pretty big for us.
Yeah. Did that, Coach, exceed your expectations? I know that you expected some big things from this group despite the jump from D2 to D1, but was a championship appearance, was that always in the cards in your mind?
Well, I think, that's always in the cards for every coach, is like, that's what we want and that's what you strive for. And, again, this group is very special, honestly. I think I have a very solid, positive group of girls right now that, from that first day of practice, you have that feeling that, like, this can happen, but we got to work to get there. And, they all believe in themselves. I believe in them. They believe in the coaching staff and our expectations for them and for each other. And, I think that conversation just starts and everyone's on the same page and everyone has the same goal. So
obviously a D1 championship would be huge for the program. What would it mean to you personally after doing it the last 2 years in Division II?
Honestly, it just proves that we belong. I always kind of believe we have a very strong program here on the Sea Coast. And I just feel like the dedication that a lot of these girls have out here, and the coaching staff, starting from the youth to all the way up to high school, like everyone's just so dedicated to the sport that it's not really just, it wouldn't just, like, this win's not just a win for me, it's for the coast, and the whole Seacoast lacrosse program. So even this far has just been amazing.
Well, win or lose tomorrow night, another great campaign for you, your staff, and your program. We appreciate you taking some time out tonight. And again, good luck tomorrow night. We'll see you in Exeter. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. JoJo Curro, Portsmouth head coach. Clippers back in the championship. They'll face Bedford tomorrow in a rematch of a regular season game that was won by the Bulldogs. What did you take away from that interview, Coach?
She loves her players. She loves her team, and they play hard for her. You could see they're a group that has fun, but they're also intense. And they were so for the most part they were in control of that game. BG made a few different runs, but you could just see that they were a team that believed in themselves. They were confident.
They never trailed.
They never did.
Right.
Every time BG made a run, they answered. They had an answer. And BG was, it was a good. BG's it's a very good team. Not like they were. BG's been on a run where they've, in 2021, I think 20-3 they beat Pinkerton last year. They beat Bedford pretty handily. This year you have two teams that are
right there.
There. You have two, and two teams that were the favorites coming in. And as she said, her team, like the BG team, I watched the BG Portsmouth earlier. And BG got a lot better from April to now, but so did that Portsmouth team. And, that's coaching. They also have, players that bought into the system, and, they have athletes. They got, there's no weaknesses in their game. They're the one, unproven is the young goaltender, but she made some big saves in that game. But they have girls that defend, they have girls in the middle, and they have girls that attack. So they're a complete team, as is Bedford. Bedford is very complete. Bedford likes to play a little bit slower. Coach Hodgson likes to be a little bit more in control, where I think that Portsmouth just plays a little bit more free. But they run their sets, they run their plays. So it's going to be two very well-coached teams that are disciplined, athletic, and highly skilled.
It's going to be a heavyweight fight, and we'll bring it to you live tomorrow night in conjunction with the NFHS Network on NFHSnetwork.com. All right, Avery Runke is our Tomahawks Player of the Week on the girls' side. The Portsmouth senior on her way to Loyola, Maryland, after tomorrow night's game to continue her career at the NCAA level. We speak with another rising star next. You are watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, summer and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
All right, final segment here of FNL Lacrosse. We're presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Nick and Astis, Coach Cameron with you. And the final episode of the season comes and goes so quick, doesn't it, Coach?
So quick. I mean,
it's the
that means you're having fun.
It's the fastest season, right? There is.
It is. Like, it seemed like basketball, the winter sport, goes on forever.
Right.
Even like the
you got two vacations mixed in there as well.
Yep. And the fall sports start in August and sometimes go to
November.
Late November. But yeah, it's
either way, it all comes to a head this week. 3 state championship games tomorrow night on the girls' side, and then 3 sets of semifinals on the boys' side on Wednesday. And of course, the boys' season wraps up on Sunday with 3 straight games from one location in Exeter, as the D1 was first on Sunday, right?
D1's first at 2:30.
Then D3, then D2.
That's yes. I'll check on the D3.
The tentative schedule.
But I'm pretty sure that's the.
All right, so either way, a full week of lacrosse, and by the way, we'll be broadcasting beginning tomorrow night with the girls' Division I championship at 7 o'clock.
That is
All right,
that's confirmed.
Let's bring in Avery Runke, our Tomahawks star of the week, the Portsmouth senior on her way to Loyola, Maryland. Had herself a fantastic game on Saturday. We're going to bring her in via the phone right now. Avery, are you there? 1 second. We're getting her hooked up, I guess, but little technical difficulties with the video tonight, but we're going to hear from Avery here momentarily. But, Coach, you're very familiar with her. Obviously one of the better players, not just for Portsmouth, but in the entire state of New Hampshire.
In the country, when she got named to the New Balance
All-American?
Senior All-American game, which is huge, and the matchup that she's going to have is another girl that made the Senior All-American game in Sydney Grogan. So, but Avery was very impressive on Saturday night. I mean, just as a team player, individual, and the combination with her sister and Annie, it made them tough to defend.
All right, let's bring her in. Avery, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good. We can hear you loud and clear now. We appreciate you coming on. Tell me a little bit about, I guess, the last 3 years with Portsmouth, where it's just been win after win after win. The back-to-back titles in Division II, the successful regular season this year against Division I competition, and now, after a semifinal victory over Bishop Girton, you're back in yet another championship game. How do you sum up? How do you sum it all up in terms of what you've been able to accomplish the last 3 seasons with Portsmouth?
Yeah, I mean, this program is really something special. Even before our seniors kind of came in, we came into a program that had already won, I think, 3 times in a row in Division II. So we were kind of set to carry that on. We had a great group of girls. Most of them graduated last year, so we were able to kind of continue that on in Division II. Luckily this year, we were allowed to go up to Division I. We were super pumped for that, kind of ready just to prove ourselves in Division I. And we took the challenge head on and took it one game at a time and eventually found ourselves to the championship, which is very exciting for us and kind of something that we've been working towards all season.
Take me back to Saturday. You guys led wire to wire. You built up a lead early in that first half against Bishop Girton and then survived a late push from the Cardinals as well to win that game 14-12. Coach Curro told us a moment ago that you guys were ready to play once game time rolled around. Do you agree with all that? Was that the advantage that maybe your team carved out for yourselves? Was the fact that you hit the ground running, so to speak, at the beginning of that game? Or what was the key? What was the key in your mind?
Definitely before the game, we were talking about how we just want to take it one moment at a time. There's a lot of uncontrollables, especially in playoffs with whether it be refs, whether it be fans, whether it be anything on the field. So we really just wanted to control what we can control. And then also just kind of play in the moment because the game's very long. There's going to be ups and downs in lacrosse. And we just knew that we needed to fight through the whole time. And that's what we did. And ultimately we came out with that win.
Where did the love for lacrosse come from initially? Obviously, you've got a younger sister who is following in your footsteps, a very good sophomore. I'd imagine there's a competitive element growing up in the same household, but where did the initial love for the sport come from?
So I actually started playing soccer at a young age, and that was kind of my main sport. I always played lacrosse. I started in about 2nd grade, but I kind of had this coach that was just very into it, very dedicated, and I played with these groups of girls on my town team, which are now my teammates, and we kind of just formed that chemistry and that bond really early, and all of us just kind of grew the love for the game together. We have a lot of girls going to play in college, and that kind of just attributes, we kind of just attribute that to our coach and everything that we built up together.
Hi, Avery. Thanks for coming on. First off, congrats on the win. Congrats on the senior game. That's quite the what was your reaction when you found out you were selected?
I was quite shocked. Yeah, but super excited. I mean, everyone always dreams of going to that game as a young girl and never thought it would happen, but put all that hard work in, and I'm just really excited to get the opportunity to play in that game.
As are we. So one of your teammates in that game will be your opponent and maybe the player that will be marking you. So what do you think about the matchup with Sid Grogan tomorrow?
Yeah, I definitely know Sydney very well. I've known her for a long time. I love playing against her, that just competitiveness that we have. Definitely a lot of head-to-head battles, but there's a lot of other players that can make things happen as well. So kind of see how it plays out.
How about the future? Obviously, Loyola, Maryland is the destination. How did you choose them?
Yeah, so a lot of things. Obviously, when recruiting happened, you get a lot of different coaches talking to you, but the main head coach there, Jen Adams, she reached out to me immediately, loved everything that she was talking about, her coaching style, everything down there. So I took a visit out to Baltimore and kind of just fell in love with the school immediately, and really kind of the team, the atmosphere that they have down there. And I was also looking for like that academic element as well. So the Patriot League is pretty good academics as well. So kind of had that full package there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's about as good as it gets.
And Loyola made it to the quarterfinals, losing to eventual champion Northwestern.
That's right.
Yeah.
They were very, very. They are a team that is going in the right direction. They are a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Sounds like you'll fit right in down there. Any idea what you want to study in terms of a major, or are you undecided at this point?
Yeah, I'm going into biology there. I know I want to do something in the medical field. Right now, I kind of want to go into maybe physical therapy or orthopedics, but I kind of want to just stay broad with my major right now and then kind of narrow in later.
All right. We asked Coach Curro earlier. I'm going to ask you now, what needs to go right, so to speak, tomorrow night against Bedford? Obviously, the Bulldogs are very good as the top seed. You faced them during the regular season. You were involved in a very competitive contest there about a month ago. But in your mind, what needs to click? What are some of the things you're looking to accomplish within the game tomorrow night in the championship?
I think kind of just all elements. It's going to be a really head-to-head battle. The main thing is draw controls. That's possession is going to be a big key that we're really focusing on. And kind of just offense and defense all need to mesh and gel together. We're really looking to play team ball because no one's going to be able to do it by themselves. I think the better team is going to come out in the end, and we're just hoping to put everything that we've been doing all season together to get that win.
Spoken like a coach.
So impressive on this interview.
Yeah, great stuff across the board. All right, Avery, we appreciate the time tonight. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We wish you luck tomorrow against Bedford, and thanks again for jumping on the show here with us tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you. That's Avery Runke, the Portsmouth senior, on her way to Loyola, Maryland. But before that, obviously she's got a big game tomorrow night in the championship, and then another big game in the All-America game, right?
Yeah, that's late July. Late July. They play that game, a North-South game, and it's live on ESPN. So it's a big deal. She says every girl grows up wanting to do that, and it's quite the accomplishment. She said hard work combined with talent.
And as you mentioned, it's good for the state of New Hampshire now.
It's great. I mean, getting Riley in that game last year, and Riley, Riley had so much success in that game where she had a goal and an assist. I think that helps. They're like, oh, that girl Bouvier can play. Let's, maybe we need some other players from New Hampshire in that game. So hopefully Avery and Sydney will have success, and then we'll get some. Maybe her sister will benefit from that in the class of 25.
Right. All right, Coach. We've obviously got a number of big games coming up this week. Tomorrow night, Bedford Portsmouth on the girls' side in D1. That broadcast, again, can be seen live only on NFHSnetwork.com. Our team here at Friday Night Lights New Hampshire will handle the production, but, again, the only place you can see it live is on NFHSnetwork.com. Same thing Wednesday night when we are in Exeter for both of the Division I boys semifinals. It begins with Pinkerton against Exeter at 5 o'clock, and then Merrimack takes on defending champion Bishop Girton at 7:15. Then on Sunday, we are back at Bill Ball Stadium for the final time for the state championship games, all three of them on the boys' side, beginning at, 2 o'clock, 2:30 is the first one?
2:30. 2:30, 5's the D3, and then 7:30 is the D2.
So there you go. You settle in at 2:30, and you're good the rest of the day.
It's going to be usually during this time of year, we got to worry about the thunderstorms rolling in. There's always delays, but this week's a cool week. Like, I think tomorrow, our game I checked is going to be 60 65 degrees
Perfect.
out there. And then, but for the championship on Sunday, when you play at 2:30 in mid-June, it's going to be 80 degrees. I'll take 90.
Is that a factor?
I mean, we're deeper than any other team. So
not as much for you, but
we want it to be hot. We want the hotter the better. We want because we play guys. We play a lot of guys. So for us, we want that to wear teams.
But
down.
in general, as an average player, does that heat factor in?
I think it affects people differently. Because you're not used to it. It's been a crazy year. Like our first game of the year versus Hingham was warmer than our quarterfinal game against. It was 80.
It's cold this week.
82 degrees.
Right.
And we were played in 48 degrees.
48 Saturday
against Concord, and then the girls' game on the Seacoast at Billball Stadium. It was rainy, wet,
and windy.
It felt like in the 40s.
And
I mean,
windy,
it was
cold.
It's crazy weather. You get New Hampshire, but
that's to your point to be expected, right? That wild card.
You just don't know what you're going to get. I remember 2011 we played Pinkerton, and it was 95 degrees. I mean, 95, and it was humid, and sometimes we've played in some rainy ones, some rainy ones, and we've had weather delays. So, but this week looks good.
We played in the rain. I feel like 5 or 6, 7 years ago somewhere. One of those games I broadcast, I felt like it was raining.
Yes, it was the
15, maybe somewhere in there.
15 or 16. I think the 16 game. Yeah.
All right, Coach. Final thoughts. We heard a lot of good stuff tonight from both the Merrimack players, Ryan Resendez, Jackson Forbes, their head coach Brian Miller, and then we got a great look into the Portsmouth locker room on the girls' side with head coach JoJo Curro and Avery Runke, the senior. What'd you take away from our interviews tonight? What are you looking forward to most?
Yeah, it would have been great to have
week?
Coach Hodge on. We did try to get her on.
She had a commitment tonight.
Just to get their thoughts on this game, because she's always so articulate. She's
very good with us.
She's not so much coach speak. She kind of just tells you, the way it is. But I think that's, the defending champ is gone. BG was dominant. But I think that we have the two best teams in that championship, and it's going to be a good one. I would not be surprised if it went to OT. I mean, I could just see it being an overtime game.
I wouldn't either.
You had a great game. How about the play-in game that you had Exeter at Merrimack? I mean, talk about overtime. That was it's been an entertaining year across the board, and Coach Miller and Ryan and Jackson. It makes you, We were looking forward to playing Bedford. We were just expecting Bedford was going to win, and because they're just such a great group. They compete. Coach Bordeaux was a great coach, but when you have those guys on, you see Coach Miller and just the enthusiasm and the excitement and pure joy. That's what high school sports is about. Those kids are so happy that they won that game, and they look like they're going to come in and give it their best shot on Wednesday, being an overwhelming underdog, but. You just never know what can happen in one game, but that's what high school sports is all about, and it's great when you have, as you mentioned in the opening, it's nice to have a new team, in the mix.
Yeah, good for Merrimack, good accomplishment.
Good for Merrimack. Coach Miller, he's got a great program he's put together.
He does. All right, want to thank a few folks before we say goodbye, including our guests tonight, Coach Miller of Merrimack, Ryan Resendez, and Jackson Forbes of Merrimack, JoJo Curro, the Portsmouth head coach, and Avery Runke, the Portsmouth senior. If you missed any of the interviews, don't worry. The show is archived, or will be archived momentarily, under our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I want to thank the sponsors for standing tall again this season. Obviously, your staff over at the Tomahawks, we appreciate that ongoing support. Of course, Steve Beals and Beals Insurance, Mike over at MG Sports Fundraising, Chad and his group over at New Hampshire iPhone Repair, appreciate them. Of course, the newest horses in the stable, Spectrum Monthly, and Roger Howe Real Estate, appreciate the ongoing support there. So none of this happens without the sponsors, so we appreciate that. And, of course, the hard work from the man behind the curtain, Ben Beals, our director, the wizard of replay. He's been holding down the fort for the last 9 or 10 weeks. Appreciate that.
Incredible production.
And, of course, got to send a thanks to your daughter, Kristen, who's going to be back with me tomorrow doing a spectacular job, and a rising star amongst the media circuit as well.
She enjoys it. Thank you.
And, Coach, you as well.
Working with the best in the business.
Doing a great job, Coach. We appreciate it as well. So for Chris Cameron, I'm Nick Anastas saying so long. This has been FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks.